Hello, everybody. It's Andrew from 510 Books. I'm in my warehouse, in my book and media store, my physical media store, and I'm sharing with you this tremendous amount of crates that I have. Um, we're all closed up. It's Saturday. Excuse me. Saturday, February 22nd, 2025. And today was a great day. It was a great day in general, but also in the store. Started out great. I don't open the store till 11 on Saturdays. I've learned my lesson many years ago. By many, I mean like 3-4 years ago. When I first started opening on Saturdays every week, I was opening at 8 a.m., guys. 8 a.m. And I learned that no one will show up that early. I had one guy that was showing up, but that was really it. And people that would just randomly come, but for the most part, no one on a Saturday is going to show up at 8 a.m. And I tried 9, and then for a while I did 10, and then I realized, you know what? 11 makes more sense. Even when I open at 11 on a Saturday, on every Saturday, even when I open on 11, at 11, I don't really get a lot of people until closer to noon. But nonetheless, it's still much better than 8, 9, or 10. So with that being said, I'm able to hang out at home with the family, able to have a nice breakfast, do our thing. I can leisurely get into the day without feeling, so pressured during the week. I mean, pressured in the sense of if I have to ship stuff, then I've got to do that. But I also drop the kids off at 8 a.m. and then I got to go ship, and then I go to the post office, and et cetera. And I got to open the store by 10 o'clock. Now I'm doing it 5 days a week, which is what I want. But Saturday is nice to not have to do that. I don't do any shipping on Saturday. Even if I have sold stuff, I have made the pact with myself a while ago for my sanity and to have better balance, to not ship on weekends. So I will only ship if anything sells on Friday. Basically, if it's selling past like 8, 9 a.m. on Friday, it's not going to get shipped till Monday. And technically, I don't have to because it's the weekend. And I'm supposed to ship the next business day. So anyway, that's a side note. That's something that just popped into my head as I'm chatting, making the video. So that's nice. I don't have to worry about that. I can just come down to the store, open it up. I came down around 10:15 or left the house around 10:20, just so I could open it up and start to do some other stuff before I officially opened. I'll put the signs out though, like about 10:30. I put the signs out, and that's fine, just in case anyone happens to drive by and it grabs their attention. So that's what was going on today. I had some good amount of customers come in. I had a couple of new customers, so that's really great. And this week, just talking about this week, so I want to make the point of this video, who wins the race, or who do you think in business ends up being more successful? It's the slow and easy, the marathon, or is it quick, the sprinter? And you can measure your success however you want. It's strictly income. You can do it by enjoying what you're doing to make money. You can do it by maybe time freedom, more freedom for yourself, more control of your schedule, that kind of thing. Whatever you judge it by. Because I personally believe that slow and steady wins the race, not sprinting and being sort of frantic. That's what I've learned. But doing this reselling for 10 years now, over 10 years. So that's what I believe. And speaking of that, which I want to share with you, this is only my second full week of being open 6 days a week. So if you're new to the channel, if you haven't been around, I was open officially to the public Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays in this location. 10 to 5 during the week, Thursday and Friday, 11 to 5 on Saturday. And I was like that for I don't know how many years it's been, 3 years, something like that. It's been a while. But I always wanted to open the whole week, excluding Sunday. I decided a long time ago not to be open on Sunday. Sunday's a day off. If I ever open on Sunday, it would be because I would hire somebody to do it for me. And I'd have to be making enough money the other days for that to make sense. But I don't know if I'll ever do that. because I did open on Sundays for a while, and it was okay. And again, you got to build it up again. It probably would be okay, but nonetheless, I'm not going to do that. So I open Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, limited hours, not 10 to 5, limited hours. And so that's an additional total 12 hours of being open here at this location during the week. This is my second full week of doing it. So before I did it, the week before, I had a good sales week with the 3 days. And I told you last week, my overall sales for that week were less than the previous week, which was only 3 days being open only 3 days. But last week, 2 days, it was rainy. One of those days, it was pouring. The next day, it was sprinkling here and there, and things were wet and all that kind of stuff. So here in Southern California, at least where I live, a lot of people don't like to go out that much into the rain because they're not used to it. So that affected sales. But this week, second full week of being open, the extra 12 hours, the extra 3 days, and I did better than last week and also better than the week before that, which is great news. So my first full week of being open without it raining, and it was a good week. I understand things are going to go up and down, and next week it might not even be as good as this week. I don't know. But I tend to, speaking of the marathon, you look at the longer trends, not week to week, more like month to month, quarter to quarter, that kind of thing, to see if there's any sort of slow uptick, right? So it could be like next week it's around what I did this week, maybe a tiny bit less, maybe the next week it's a little bit more, and then suddenly it dips down, and then it jumps way up, and then, but over time it gradually kind of goes up. If you see, imagine a graph where it's like kind of going down, up and down, but then it's over time. Well, that's not really a good idea, but like you're down here, and then it's up, and it's down, and it's up, and it's down, but it's slowly going up. That was kind of, I don't know if that was a good example, but that's what popped into my head. So, that's great news. And, I've always felt like the more I'm open, the more people will find me. I'll find more customers, which means a higher chance of finding more repeat customers, because that's really the name of the game for any business, is somebody coming back over and over again, whether it's to Amazon, eBay, Etsy, the swap meet, your physical store like I have, whatever it is. It's really building those relationships and the trust, and people knowing that you're there, certain time. Of course, online it's always open, but you get my point, right? So, I just lost my train of thought, but yeah, it's important to do that. That's what's going to enable me to find more customers. That's right, repeat customers. I feel like having done this for 5.5 years now, having this location, I see the importance of repeat customers. I'm talking month after month, year after year, they come back. If you can get dozens of those people, and then get 50 of those people, 100 of those people, 200 of those people, that's what really is going to build a solid income and business here. That's a reliable business. That's what I want. I want this. My intention is this store is to do more sales than my eBay does, and to sell more in the store than online, basically. I won't always sell everything in the store, but most of it. That's the idea. I'll keep doing eBay, of course, and a little bit of Amazon, because sometimes it just makes more sense, and that's fine. But that's the idea, that I double, triple, quadruple what I'm doing right now. Also, I can hire help. Like I talked about, going to 10 to 5, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Once I hit I have a number in mind to do of gross sales a week in the store. And if I can hit that consistently over a longer period of time for a couple of months, I'd be more comfortable if it was like 2 or 3 months of doing that. Then I can feel more comfortable hiring somebody, because I don't want to hire somebody and go through that long process. And then have to, after a month or two, say, oh, sorry, we're not making enough sales. I got to let you go. And, then have to tell my customers, we were open a little bit for more hours, but now we're not. I want to make sure I'm headed in the right direction. And then that makes sense. So yeah, tell me your 2 cents in terms of business. You could just talk about reselling or think about reselling. It could be any business, but, I think of, as an example, I think of when I first started, and I was only doing for many years, only doing Amazon. And then I actually only did Amazon for a couple of years. Then I got into eBay, but only doing online for like the first 5 years. And I tried out like swap meet, flea market, that kind of stuff. Didn't really work out until I decided to finally find a location, which ended up being this location, and anchor myself here so that people know where to find me. I don't have to move around. But I was only online, and I remember, and it's still to this day the same thing, all of the scanners, when you would go to a library sale or whatever, wanting to get through everything super quick, so they go to another sale, instead of taking their time and learning how to go through the books that don't require a scanner and don't have an ISBN, don't have a barcode, etc. Pre-ISBN books like you see right here, all these books that I'm going through. These are turn of the century books. These are books from the 1890s to the 1930s. A lot of them are like early 1900, like 1908, 1910, 1911, that kind of thing. There's ones at 1897. So learning how to be slow but methodical. If you see a bunch of books, you methodically go row by row, and you don't need to scan every single book. But anyway, you get my point. And that way you learn, right? So you learn. So then when you're going through older books, it does take more time, but you can sort of spot some of them and think and figure out, oh, that's probably not worth anything. That's probably not worth looking up. And over time, you learn that stuff. So I think that's a valuable lesson and something to consider, whether you're doing reselling, like I talk about all the time in my journey here, my business journey, or if you're doing another business. It's being methodical. Obviously, you don't want to take forever with everything, but I've learned so much about how to sell stuff, what to sell, where to sell it, how much to price it, all that kind of stuff, whether it's eBay or Amazon or here in my store, that I think that it's, I got so much information in my head, and it's valuable to take your time, basically, is my point. So I don't want to make this video too long. I'm already doing that. But also these are my first 2 boxes of going through all of those. It ended up being 34 bankers boxes plus those 2 smaller ones, the whole palette. I didn't go through any of the bankers boxes yet, but because I listed some lots today, some loose disc lots, and took a bunch of photos of stuff for the my store. Anyway, did a bunch of other stuff. So I dug into this though, and the first 5 books I'm going to end up listing on eBay that are all very old books. Reality for Ashes by Desmond Koch, very old book from 1910. Here's another one, school history. This one is The Trembling of a Leaf, Somerset Maugham, who's a really well-known author. The Forest Giant, Chaffee, House Divided. Pearl S. Buck was a really prolific author in her day. This is from 1930. What is it? 1935. So I'm finding a bunch of books. These 3 are the same ones. The Little Pepper. It's the Little Pepper, or 5 Little Peppers, it's called. Never heard of these before. They're kind of kids' books from over 100 years ago, and there's 3 of them, and so I'm going to consider putting those in a lot. And if I find more, I will add them. But there's a lot of older books, and it turns out a lot of these are first editions and whatnot. So not all the books in those 34 boxes are older books, but I did see some that are. But I don't know what percentage. Well, I love older books, and I know they can sell for great money. They do take a long time to go through. So I'm going to have to be patient, take my time, don't rush, so I can find the money in these books. And also, if it makes sense, and if there's enough books, I'm going to put together vintage, 1900s book lots, vintage, decorative, collectible, display, those kind of keywords, right? So they all have these older spines and that kind of thing. That stuff is still selling on eBay. I've done that a long time ago. I tried that, didn't do that well at it. Maybe I just didn't know what I was doing. I'm willing to try it again, and really price them to move, right? Not try to make maximum dollars, but based on the market, just try to be at the very lower end to move them. If you have any ideas for that or help, let me know. All right, guys. So take your time, learn at a good pace, get better at what your profession is, your career, your business, And over time, you can dominate, you can do really well, and you can build something that's sustainable, reliable, predictable, and enjoyable at the same time, because I love selling this stuff. And man, I sold everything this week. I sold CDs, I sold lots of records, I sold books, I sold lots of video games, Blu-rays, DVDs, 4K now I have in the store, a good amount. So that's exciting to see people buying all types of media. I even sold, did I sell any? Oh no, I was gonna say VHS. I think that was last week. But anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. See you in the next video. Work hard, but also relax. Take care.